This can't be real, Heather lives. Heather's 3 words destroy Daniel and Tessa's relationship. A Y&R creative piece. This can't be real. That was the first thought that slammed into Daniel's mind as he stood frozen in the middle of society, the noise of Genoa City dissolving into a dull roar around him. The woman standing at the entrance, alive, breathing, unmistakable, was Heather. Not a ghost, not a memory, not a cruel trick of grief. Heather Stevens was standing right there, her eyes locked onto his, carrying a lifetime of unfinished words. For weeks, Daniel had tried to bury her memory. He had convinced himself that moving forward meant moving on, that loving Tessa was proof he could still build something new. But Heather's sudden return shattered every careful lie he'd told himself. She wasn't supposed to exist anymore. She wasn't supposed to walk back into his life and turn everything upside down with a single glance. Tessa felt it before she understood it. The shift in the air. The tension in Daniel's shoulders. The way his face drained of color as if he'd seen something impossible. When she turned and followed his gaze, her heart sank. She didn't know Heather well, but she knew enough. This was the woman whose shadow had always hovered between her and Daniel, even when he insisted the past was dead. Heather took a step forward. Each heel click echoed like a countdown to disaster. "Daniel," she said softly. His name on her lips sounded dangerous. Familiar. Alive. Tessa tried to ground herself, reminding herself that she and Daniel were solid. They had fought for each other. They had chosen each other. Whatever history stood in front of them, it didn't get to rewrite the present. Or so she believed. But then Heather looked past Daniel, straight at Tessa. Her expression wasn't cruel. It wasn't smug. That somehow made it worse. "I remember everything." 3 words. That was all it took. "I remember everything." They sliced through the room and landed directly between Daniel and Tessa like a bomb detonating on impact. The meaning was immediate and devastating. Heather hadn't just survived. She hadn't lost the past, hadn't forgotten the love, the promises, the moments Daniel had convinced himself were gone forever. Daniel's chest tightened. Memories rushed back without mercy. Stolen glances, whispered dreams, a future once planned in detail. He had told himself those memories belonged to a different lifetime. But Heather's words resurrected them, vivid and unforgiving. Tessa watched his reaction, and in that instant, she knew. She knew that no matter how much Daniel cared for her, a part of him had always been frozen in the past. And now that past was standing in front of him, alive and undeniable. "You don't get to do this," Tessa said, her voice steady but shaking underneath. "You don't get to come back and blow up our lives." Heather met her gaze without flinching. "I didn't come back to destroy anything. I came back because the truth refuses to stay buried." Daniel finally found his voice. "Heather, we thought you were dead," she finished quietly. "So did I, for a while." The weight of those words settled heavily. This wasn't just about love triangles or unresolved feelings. This was about guilt, survival, and choices that had been made based on a lie. Tessa turned to Daniel, her eyes searching his face. "Say something. Tell me that what we have is real." He opened his mouth, but no words came. And that silence was louder than any confession. Tessa stepped back, pain flashing across her face as understanding set in. Heather didn't have to say anything else. Those 3 words had already done the damage. They had reminded Daniel of a love he never properly mourned, and they had shown Tessa that she had been building her future on uncertain ground. "I won't compete with a ghost who isn't a ghost anymore," Tessa said softly. "Figure out what you want, Daniel. But don't ask me to wait while you relive your past." With that, she walked away, leaving Daniel standing between the woman he once loved and the woman he was losing. Heather watched Tessa go, her expression heavy with regret. "I never wanted this." Daniel finally looked at her, his eyes filled with conflict. "But it's real. And now, nothing is the same. Heather lives." And with just 3 words, everything Daniel thought he knew, about love, about moving on, about his future, was destroyed. In Genoa City, the dead don't always stay buried. And sometimes, the truth is far more dangerous than any lie.